Hello guys, and welcome back into another episode of the Discovery Tours from the Assassin's Creed. Look at the beautiful background. So as you can tell, look at all these things down there, leaning down to the city. As you can tell, we are gonna explore more about the pyramids, I'm sure, and this is possibly the first one. Uh, can't be really certain, but I think that's what it is. There's more in there. Look at that, the whole place is riddled with many pirates been around. I think those are the two biggest ones, and then this will be the first one. Let's, without further ado, go ahead and explore. First monument, Manka. There you go. It must be this one.
Welcome to the Step Pyramid Complex of Djoser.
Oh, he wants me to go down like that. Let's go then.
The Step Pyramid is at the center of an enclosed complex, comprised of temples, models of palaces, and artificial constructions, all built for the afterlife of Pharaoh Djoser. The funeral complex itself covers 15 hectares and is located on the highest point of the Saqqara Plateau. It's clear from the elaborate detail and scale of the complex that this was a technological marvel of its time. The only fragment of information regarding the design plans of the complex was discovered on a section of stone containing an architectural sketch of a vault.
Wow, that's absolutely stunning, isn't it? I'm just trying to make it out from the picture. So this is the way up the hill. There must have been two smaller pyramids which are probably not existent now. And then it was this one. Plus two small ones behind there. Well, we'll see what we can see in this one. Let's go down then and let's follow it up. Oh.
The Step Pyramid is the first monument built of stone. Standing at 60 meters high, it was the tallest of its time. Built 4,700 years ago, it was originally intended as a mastaba, which was a flat-roofed rectangular tomb. Its famous architect, Imhotep, may have felt this was too humble for the great Pharaoh Djoser and began to add the steps.
Too humble. 4,700 years ago. This. Wow, okay. Quite impressive walls as well.
The Step Pyramid complex is enclosed within a 1,600-meter long wall that is 10 meters high. This large wall was made out of white limestone and oriented along the north-south axis.
Oh yeah, we're looking at it. It's quite impressive. Love it. Okay.
While there are 14 doors, only its eastern door was intended to accommodate the living. The remaining false doors were built as portals for the King's Ka to pass through. Along with false doorways, the walls were designed with bastions and steeples resembling a defensive wall. The positioning of these design elements suggest that they were related to the Hebset festival.
I wonder if we're gonna find those things going all the way from the bottom, all the way to the main entrance, I assume. That is very impressive. Look at that.
The only real entrance into the complex is at the end of a long, narrow passageway. This enclosure has a stone canopy carved to resemble wooden logs. At the end of the passage is a large opening. Meant to resemble a doorway, it has carved doors and hinges that are permanently open and immovable.
I guess to talk about this, which obviously doesn't exist now. At least not in here. just want to go. What? Yeah. Look at that. I wonder if that's really in real life like that. Well, it is depicted on the picture like that, so it must be. Tiny sphinxes. Let's go in.
The corridor is lined with 20 pairs of columns up to 6 meters high, built by stacking stone drums. The completed facade was made to resemble reed stock bundles. Traces of red paint were found on the columns, along with black paint on the support walls. This would have had the effect of blending the walls into the shadows to give the red columns the illusion of standing on their own.
Interesting. Little funny bug. Let's not look at that. Haven't seen anything, guys. This game is perfect. Just admiring the environment there.
Chambers are located on either side of the columns and are thought to be chapels representing the provinces of Upper and Lower Egypt. According to some Egyptologists, the arrangement of the rooms may be symbolic of jurisdiction and judgment.
I wonder where are those chambers? Oh, must have been. Well, it's not standing anymore, is it? Which is a shame. Oh, look at that. That was the first one ever. Most likely, at least so far as we know. First human-built monument. And yeah, very impressive, 60 meters.
Guarded by a line of carved snakes, this tomb is located at the southern end of the courtyard. The burial chamber is beneath it, down a 30-meter deep shaft. The low-ceilinged chamber resembles a mastaba and is relatively intact compared to the later burial chamber. The tomb is made of pink granite, though there is evidence it was once polished limestone. Too small for a body, it is possible that the tomb was intended for the king's ka, or to hold the canopic jars containing the king's organs. Later traditions in burials would have the canopic jars in the same chamber as the body.
I wonder if... well, is it...
A polished limestone staircase leads west from the tomb to underground apartments. Some of these rooms were intended to accommodate the king and his family in the afterlife. Many large jars of pottery were found, including some that still had deposits of beer, milk, and oil inside them. The false doorways are decorated with reliefs of the king taking part in rituals. In these reliefs, he is seen carrying agricultural tools, running, and performing a ritual for the reanimation of the deceased.
It's quite amazing place, isn't it? I was wondering if there's probably not a way how to go inside. It's all under the sand. Oh, never mind.
The architect Imhotep chose stone as a building material in order for the complex to last. Following the completion of the initial mastaba, Imhotep devised a burial of more ambitious dimensions. He set about stacking mastabas on top of each other. Evidence shows that the pyramid was enlarged twice by additional cuts into the steps, eventually reaching 62 meters in height and 121 meters by 109 meters at its base.
Oh, so it makes sense. They essentially started like this. Uh, Basic master bar, one level, and eventually he was okay. Next level, next, next, next. Obviously, I had to make it a bit more thinner as he was going higher, otherwise it will be collapsing. But that's how it all began. Very interesting.
A staircase allowing the pharaoh to enter the divine world was represented by a tiered pyramid, oblong in shape, completely enveloping the original mastaba. The pyramid itself is a solid structure. All of the chambers and tunnels are beneath the structure.
Maybe we're gonna go actually inside and see it.
Pharaoh Djoser the Sacred was the founder of the Third Dynasty. He ruled for 19 years. During his reign, he was known as Horus Negericat, divine of the body. He was given the name Djoser several centuries after his death as a sign of respect, and he is regarded as one of the greatest pharaohs of Egypt. An apocrypha was drafted in his name during the Ptolemaic period, 2,500 years after his death.
Don't mind me, guys. I'm just gonna have a look around. I do think this will be Memphis, isn't it? Can't be sure, but I think it is. Ah, I'm probably wrong about that. It's only a guess. Don't take my word for it. Looking around, there's nothing else. Some camels going down. Let's move on. Tiny steps.
Djoser was associated with the sky god Horus in his human form. A plinth near the step pyramid is inscribed with his name and associated with Horus. He was the first to reside in Memphis, making it the central hub of government for the region. Djoser was known to have built many temples and monuments before the complex at Saqqara. The funerary complex was the first of its kind, and would mark Djoser's greatest architectural achievement.
So never mind. I think it was confirmed now. That's Memphis.
The funerary complex was built to resemble Djoser's palace, with the stone carved to imitate mud brick, trees, and reeds. Creating these details and softer textures in hard stone would have been a time-consuming, labor-intensive task. Much of the complex is designed to accommodate the Hebsed festival, allowing the king the ability to affirm his rule even in the afterlife. In the corner is a temple referred to as T. This temple is among the most mysterious structures in the complex. Its outer facade is plain, while inside it is decorated with intricate jed pillars and carvings. It's possible that this place was intended to be where the Ka of the king materialized, symbolically visiting the platform of the Hebsed courtyard from the afterlife.
Must be those, isn't it?
The Hebsed festival enabled the pharaoh to maintain universal order and renew godly powers. Through a series of trials and religious rites, such as dance, offerings, and visiting the sanctuaries of various deities, the ruler's vital force and divine nature was confirmed. The celebration was meant to represent the ruler's jubilee and would take place every 30 years, though the deadline was not always followed. The earliest known ritual dates from the First Dynasty. Within the complex of Djoser, southeast of the pyramid, is a dedicated space for this essential ritual to be performed by the king even in the afterlife. The Hebsed courtyard is lined with false chapels and equipped with a platform featuring 2 staircases meant to represent Upper and Lower Egypt.
I wonder where. Should be looking at it, but I don't see it though. Oh, what's going on? Let's go. Yeah, it's not much there.
Located in the courtyard, the 2 pavilions are believed to represent the palaces of Upper and Lower Egypt. Rectangular in shape, the 2 replica structures face one another. Their facade is similar to the chapels of the Hebsed ceremony, with column crowns carved to look like falling leaves. Because Queen Hetep-Hernepti and Princess Inetkas's names were discovered on a stela near the pavilions, it is thought that these funerary chapels were intended for them.
I failed to see where exactly that's the courtyard. Should be standing right here, but I think that's just continue, and then in the corner there's nothing more. Or maybe that is a part of that. Maybe more obvious when we go further.
The funerary temple is on the north side of the complex, facing the stars where the deceased ruler was believed to travel after death. Within this temple was the pharaoh's serdab, or cellar. It is a small, enclosed space with one wall sloped to match the first step of the pyramid.
Looks like we're gonna go inside as well, which is always nice to see. Or maybe not.
The north wall has 2 observation holes. A statue of Djoser is seated on the throne, wearing a mantle and a tripartite wig with a crown known as a Nemes. Representing the king's ka, this statue looks through the observation holes into the courtyard, enabling the king to observe the ceremonies and receive offerings in the afterlife.
This makes sense. Is that the second hole? Well, we're gonna go to the actual one, but that also means we have to perform our duty and go all the way up. Because why the hell not? Now, the question is, can we? I'm sure we can. Let's have a look. What's that? 60 meters feels like to climb. As you can tell, it's quite a serious building inside, and that's roughly 1/3 of the biggest one, isn't it? Or the tallest one, I should say. It was a massive complex here all around. This must have been beautiful in the day when it actually was still all standing and not buried in the sand. Well, even now it gives a good glimpse of what it must have been like. And there's obviously observation point, we may as well tag it. So we are on the top, pretty much. Synchronize, oh why the hell not? Again, this will be... well, I know it was probably forbidden back in the day, but if I was living those days, I'm probably going to be climbing this quite often, if it's possible, to have this kind of view. Perhaps taking my days in here. I'm sure they'll be appreciating all of this. Just look at that. Well, that's all for today's episode, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.